Hello and welcome to another edition of the I'll Drink to That podcast. Not the former name, if you're listening in.
No, it's episode number 2 of this brand new podcast.
Well, this is number 3, actually. This is 2 for you and I.
Oh, yeah. I see. I'm not invited.
Oh, well, I pulled in my son, so prerogative. Okay. But if you want to get Ezra and Ari on one, we can do that.
You don't want that.
What about Jude? Jude, are you listening? You want to be on the pod?
Jude,
what would he have to say?
I don't know. He could talk about basketball, that's for sure.
Well, that's true. You know, does he watch wrestling?
No.
That's right.
I don't think so.
He bails whenever we watch a pay-per-view.
Yeah, he does. He used to really like John Cena, and John Cena's basically retired at this point.
Now you can't see him. So
yeah, for real.
He's invisible.
For real, though.
So, but
we had Ezra on. We could talk about Godzilla. So
for show.
Yeah. His current thing is watching all the old Japanese
the
Godzilla
old
movies.
Ones.
Yeah,
like Mothra and all that crap.
Yeah. There's tons of them too. Trust me, I've watched most of them now.
Megalodon,
Mechagodzilla, King Ghidorah. There's just
it sounds like
many.
Somebody would call her penis.
Yeah.
So,
well, King Ghidorah
That's right. I said
has 3 heads.
Ooh.
So
I don't want that penis.
Strange one for sure. Yeah.
I don't want that penis.
No.
Like a lot of guys, it's you might want a bigger penis, but not that one.
Not that one.
3-headed? No, I'm good.
Nope.
That'd be like something on What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
So that you promised from the gin. So, but yes, this is episode 3. So we'll get some of Brian's kids on if he wants. I mean, Chip was on a pod when we used to do our old one.
Yeah, he would just bark randomly.
He doesn't contribute a lot to the discussion.
Wheezy may be contributing today because feels like she's whining a lot. So if you hear a whine, it's Wheezy.
And she's got a treat back behind me that she's chewing on. So
yeah,
like a lot of dogs, she decides, oh, now it's time to pipe up. Let's have a party. So, but we got a few features today. We're recording on a Friday afternoon here, late afternoon, if anybody at work is listening. So May 12th, but this will probably go up on Saturday the 13th. So, just understand that. And of course, as I say, Louise, she's drinking water. So
she's thirsty.
First thing we're going to do, Brian's got a couple of features for us today. The first one is just a straight blind taste test. So what is this feature, Brian?
This is test your knowledge. I've purchased something I don't believe you and I have ever had before.
It's got a nice rich color.
It does. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've had a version of it, but not this particular version of
it.
So I know what it is. So I'm just going to test your whiskey knowledge and expertise.
Yeah.
By allowing you to taste it. You can guess the proof, test the mash bill, and if you want to test the maker, you can try all those things. Then we'll pull up some tasting notes by the quote-unquote professionals after Paul gives his tasting notes and see how close the two are.
I think this is all payback for all these take your shot fun boys that you've lost so that I can look like an idiot because I'm usually decent on proof. Tasting notes, it depends. Mash bill? No, I'm not even going to try to embarrass myself with that. That's like trying to announce dishes at, non-American restaurants. I don't even try. I just point at it and go, yeah, that's it. But, okay, so we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, because, it is a rule that we drink on this fucking podcast.
That's right.
And we curse on this fucking podcast because it's explicit. So, if you don't like it, piss off. That's a different flavor there.
Yeah.
I know that was a riveting 5 seconds of podcast.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, listening to a swish. Definitely hangs on the tongue.
Yeah.
And, a slight expansion vertically, but not overpowering.
Mm-hmm.
I would say some slightly candied notes, but not really. It's not sweet. Per se, there's a tiny tinge of sweet in there, but just like the slightest brown sugary butterscotchy kind of
back of the tongue, perhaps.
Yeah,
is that what you feel it? Yeah. The most important thing is there's no hint of pickle Which,
Oh yeah, that's a very important thing. I mean, the nose is not super strong, but it's there. Well, it does kind of hit there a second layer. Um, oh. Yeah, it's I mean, I kind of get a little. It's not fruity, but maybe a little dark fruit in there.
Okay.
But like I said, I stink at that, so it's probably like all the things that I would not think it is. Proof wise,
Which put it proof wise?
I mean, proof wise, I'd say it's at the first taste. I probably would have guessed somewhere 100 to 105.
Okay.
The second taste, it's a little less strong. I mean, that could be it numbed it a bit. So usually I overshoot the mark. So I'm going to say like 95, 96, somewhere there. Probably way off by your smile.
No, that's actually impressive. It is exactly 95.
Wow. Okay.
Look at you. He is an expert.
I don't think it's. I know Old Forester Statesman is a 95, but I don't think that's Old Forester Statesman.
It is not.
So
Any care to guess at the mash bill at all?
The mash bill.
I can give you a hint. It's me.
Oh, so it's weeded.
There you go. It's
Okay,
weeded. It is a weeded.
I know Bernheim is a weeded that we don't normally drink, but we've had it. Larceny, obviously, we drink a lot, and Weller. I mean, that's that's one thing you missed last night. Oh, is it an Old Dominic?
Huling Station.
Okay.
Huling Station.
Huling
very
Station
small
weeded?
batch, straight wheat whiskey. So we've had the weeded, but we've never had the very small batch.
Okay.
So this is, I think was $49.99. No, $45.
Okay.
Because with taxes,
Is that a
it's
special
$50.
barrel label on the bottom? I see.
No, it is a scan QR code.
Okay.
Shout out to Teresa.
Teresa.
For a chance to win, and I will scan this QR code. A chance to win Grizzlies 2023-24 season tickets.
Oh, you definitely should scan that.
So I will be scanning that.
You and I
for
can
sure.
go be a birdcage couple at
That's
games.
right.
So many people think we're a gay couple. It's like, fine.
I know.
Bromance, sure. Gay, no.
No,
Not that there's anything wrong with that, Kever.
that's not us though.
So, love you. So, if that sounded insensitive, I apologize. I won't apologize for much of my other insensitivities, but yes, it's got a good flavor to it. I mean, it's sort of, this may not make sense, but after you get into that second and third taste, yes, thank you. Because I think I've never seen that one. I've seen like a label color like that, but not the very small batch.
Yeah, I'd never seen the very small batch. I was
Yeah.
like, ooh,
So
weeded,
yeah,
very small batch.
that
Okay.
would definitely attract you.
Plus, it's a local brewery. We
Yeah.
like to support our distiller. I guess our brewery as well, but
Right.
So yeah,
When 'cause I think
support
they
local.
make vodka and gin too.
They do. They do. And it's good to know. I mean, I think that's particularly from a value perspective, it's a very strong bottle of bourbon there, and it's good to know we have a local distiller that can put out a product like that.
When it would be very interesting to, over the course of the next 2-3 years, see how they mature it and how they tweak it. Since those will be coming out, over the course of the next few years,
Yeah.
what they did years ago.
Yeah, that one doesn't have an age statement, so who knows how old it is?
Right.
Probably 4 years if I was to guess.
Yeah, I would guess somewhere in the 2 to 4 or 2 to 6 year range.
But for even younger bourbon like that, I think it's got a lot of character. And as you have more and more drinks, it becomes less and less. What's the word? Remarkable, I guess. The first hit on the tongue
Right.
brought out a lot more notes than I'm getting now, but it's a very sippable, lovely, lovely bourbon.
And that's it, where you went with that comment was exactly where I was thinking, which is that it, and I don't mean this as a negative. It's sort of the second and third taste. It's almost like the first bite gets you, and then it sort of valleys out. It doesn't bottom out. I don't want it to sound negative. It sort of like has a trough in there, and then the expansion kicks a little, not as hard as the first hit, but you still get a little bit of expansion.
Yeah.
Which I like. It could use a little more in the aftertaste, which I would say that's probably because it is a younger product. But
It's also weeded.
yeah,
so,
that's true. So it says 83% wheat, 12% corn, and 5% malted barley. So
Yeah. There you go.
But that's very tasty.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what were the actual tasting notes online?
Tobacco, greenwood, and leather.
Leather.
I don't
think I've drank a lot of leather in my day. So
I mean, would you lick your gloves? I don't know.
smell the glove like Spinal Tap,
lick your baseball glove? I don't know.
or lick tobacco. I mean, you could chew tobacco, but
I don't. I didn't.
I guess a horse chews on leather in a bit.
I don't know.
But I don't know many horses I can ask about
No.
tasting notes.
No, I didn't get those tasting notes at all. So cool.
Yeah, I didn't either. But
Whatever.
it is very tasty.
Yeah.
So it's but yeah.
Also, they say, smoke on the finish. They remark as notes of burnt toast and petrol.
two things I don't really
No.
dig, at least in my mouth.
I don't. I didn't get either of those. Thank goodness.
I mean,
I'm glad they were wrong.
burnt
about
toast is bad for your nose and your mouth. So it's interesting that that's
petrol.
part of it. Petrol, yeah.
that. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's like saying, "Oh, slight hints of methane in there."
Yes. Yes.
Don't you love it? It's not really, but yeah. So, but yes, that's good. We should definitely do that again.
Yeah.
I'll do it next time.
All right.
So now let's move on to you got a bad business beat for us today.
You know, I have a fun business story with some bad beats
Okay,
that kind of recur over and over.
great. I'm sensing missed opportunities is one that's always in there.
Do you remember the social media site Bebo?
Vaguely,
Vaguely.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you the story of Bebo. It was established in 2005 by the Birch family.
Okay.
And they built up a decent user base. And if you will recall at the time, AOL was trying to not die and was competing with the rivals MySpace and Facebook.
Yep.
And so in 2008, Bebo was sold to AOL for $850 million.
Wow.
And the Birches took that money and ran with it, as they should have. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would have run off and just counted it the rest of my life.
But that's not where the story ends. Because,
I sensed a butt in there. So.
as we all know, AOL didn't have a great time of it
Yeah.
after all that. So the Birches, after it went into bankruptcy, purchased Bebo and all its assets back in 2013 for
Why?
$1 million.
Oh my god.
So they got paid $850 million, then bought it all back less than 10 years later for $1 million.
I like the net return there.
It's a great thing. But the story doesn't end there, because they
Sold
took
it for $2 skillion a year later.
because they took it, built it back up a little bit more, and then in 2019 sold it again to Twitch
like
for
to compensate.
$25 million.
These people are my heroes.
Yeah.
Do they have a book out? Can we read it?
They apparently are very good at selling their same product over and over again. So they're now apparently a part of that deal is that they continue to work for the Bebo platform,
Right.
And so they are
Probably
currently
run the
trying
product.
to basically rebuild the platform as a social media haven in Twitch, and they're currently working on it to make it even bigger. So.
So they can sell it to Grindr or
Who knows?
Tinder or something.
So the bad beats, I guess, were AOL for one. The good beats were the Birches, who made a lot of money off of their little platform and had the sense to do it twice. So thanks, Bebo. We'll see how it goes with Twitch. Worst case scenario, if it fails, you can buy it and sell it to whatever's next.
Yeah, I mean that's some good business running right there. So like I said, those people are my heroes. Just and they may be ugly people, they may be lovely people. I don't know, but yeah, just to be able to turn that essentially from nothing into a net of $874 million.
Yeah.
I think I can handle that.
Yeah.
But I would not go back the second time and say, yeah, I want to keep working here and run the product. It's more like, yeah, I'm going to go buy a share of some sports team and be the douche that parks over on the side, court side for every game.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, I'm just going to fly back and forth to Dortmund matches and, play golf in Scotland and stuff like that. So,
maybe they did that the first 8 years and got bored.
Yeah,
So,
I guess.
let's let Twitch pay us for a while and see. I mean, I don't know the personal financial situation, but it feels like they probably would have enough money to just, if they ever get tired of it, step away and be like, okay, we're good. Good luck with that.
Yeah, very true. I think if I was a family member who was involved in the $850 million haul, and then I was not involved when they turned one into $25 million, I would totally be every holiday, man, you guys are pathetic losers. All you could do is get 25 mil. I got 850, buddy.
Yeah, well, the Birches, it is a husband-wife team that
I'd
created
definitely
it
be
and sold
saying
it.
it then.
Sold it, bought it, and sold it again. So
I'd be telling her, hey, we could have gotten $2 billion for your bullshit. But
yeah,
that does bring up, since you brought up AOL, we do have a email address for the pod.
Nice.
So if
Is
you
it
want to send
AOL.com?
suggestions, it is AOL.
Oh, yes.
Damn right it is. I tried to get excite.com, but that took me to Gmail. I'm not doing that shit. We do not support the man here on this podcast.
We support underdogs.
If you have suggestions for the show that we might ignore, this is not a suggestion box where I feel obligated to implement everything you send, but I will read it because we might not get any emails.
Yeah.
Send it to drinktothatsob@aol.com. That's SOB as in son of a bitch.
Yeah. I anticipate, because of your earlier statements, you're going to get a lot of subscriptions to gay
Probably.
magazines.
Poncho.
There, yeah.
I did send a friend of mine in college a gift subscription to that once. Yeah, drinktothatsob@aol.com. I will check it or not, but yeah, send in your shit. Cause
I will never check it. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
I'll check it because I just want to laugh. You want to send me something funny, and I'll call you out and say thanks for sending. And that means you, Cole and Carson, because you two are at least the first listeners, I think. Somebody in Belgium downloaded the first podcast, but that's like when we put up another podcast we used to do, and we got all excited because there were 500 downloads or something in the first week. And we're like, yay! And then by week 3, it was 502.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, robo download,
Thanks to our Belgian fans.
Yeah, appreciate that. If you're listening, yeah.
And if you're in a TCU frat.
It's not a frat. It's a fraternity, Brian. We don't have frats.
Okay.
Damn it.
What do you say, Gig'em horns or?
My God, Carson's gonna. Carson just drove off the road.
I might have done that on purpose.
Gig'em horns. That's like a mix of two bad Texas schools right there.
Know.
Oh my God.
I did that well, didn't I?
How about Hook'em Aggies? Can we say that instead? Yeah. Oh, thanks. Well, you should sleep with one eye open.
Horned toads battle cry. Is it ribbit, ribbit, ribbit? What is it?
No, I mean they have Zim Zam Bob Boo or whatever it is. Okay. Yeah, he can tell you.
Oh, better than Hottie.
Riff Ram Bazoo or something like that. Oh, he's mad at both of us now.
Yeah.
He's sitting there going, "Damn it, Dad! What the fuck?" So
we just lost all our TCU frat listeners.
All right. I'm gonna let that one slide. What does katana mean, Brian?
It means Japanese sword.
So,
I mean, you could get that sound effect.
Yeah, that is. I will put that in there somewhere. Yeah. So,
did we talk about the sad demise of all of our sound effects from before?
Yeah, we did not, but we had a bunch of sound effects from a previous pod that we did, and most of them were lost in the storm of Brian leaving a previous job. So
Yeah.
we'll have to rebuild the collection, but I'm confident we can do that.
Tragic.
So now we're going to play Would You Rather with Brian.
Oh, boy.
This is a game you can't lose, Brian.
We'll see.
So you can be a loser, but you can't lose.
You can say
And
I can't lose, but
with adults, we're going to play the Children Questions edition.
Okay.
Because I think they're funny.
okay.
So you get 5 questions.
Okay.
Answer however you want. You just have to explain your answer.
Okay.
So here's your
I can do
first
that.
one. Would you rather never have homework again or be paid to do your homework?
I would much rather be paid to do my homework. As I've gone through professional life, homework is not a big deal
Yeah, it's
anymore.
called a job.
It's called a job. So if someone wants to pay me for that, yeah, sign me up for that.
And what do you think that your children would say?
Jude would say never have homework again. Ari would say never have homework again, and Ezra would be like Godzilla.
Yeah. He'd say dinosaurs? Yeah. Dad, hungry. What do you want? I don't know.
That kid housed over half a pizza over the last 12 hours.
Wow.
He
Following
had,
in his older brother's footsteps. There.
He had 3 pieces late last night and 3 pieces for breakfast this morning.
Crust
So,
included?
no, he doesn't do the
Okay.
crust.
Well,
He is picky. Like, he'll only eat pepperoni. He refuses to eat cheese.
no sausage or anything? He does know
no.
there's cheese on there with pepperoni.
You know, it's weird. So I only had cheese pizza, but we did have some pepperoni in the fridge, so I just slapped some pieces of pepperoni on the pizza.
And he didn't know the difference?
Thought it was wonderful. So.
We tricked Carson when he was little, and because he never wanted to try fish. And so I think she made tilapia or something one night, and we told him it was chicken. And he's like, it's a different kind of chicken, but he was slamming it down. 2 pieces in, we're like, hey, by the way, that's not chicken, it's fish. And he tried to, like, scrape his mouth. We're like, no, it's too late now, buddy.
How could you... I don't know how you could eat a piece of fish and mistakenly, in any way, shape, or form, think it's chicken. But, whatever.
He's not too bright. So
I mean, maybe fish sticks versus chicken nuggets, but...
riff,
even
ram,
then.
bazoo.
Yeah.
So, so here's your next
Roll
one.
horn toads. Sorry.
Would you rather have $1 million in pennies or $100 million worth of ice cream? I know what adults would answer.
$1 million in pennies. What am I gonna do?
Exactly, because then immediately I'm doing the math. It's like, now I have $10,000.
No, he's $1 million in pennies, not a million pennies.
It's 0.01 times a million.
You said $1 million in pennies. Or
Oh,
did you
okay.
say
I
a
thought
million?
I meant like I thought it meant a million pennies. Sorry. So yes, I'd rather have $1 million in pennies than have $1 million. I'm not too bright.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, $100 million in ice cream. I'm just thinking, what would the utility cost be required to keep it all frozen?
Yeah, where would you keep it?
What would I do with the distribution plan to get it to sell? Yeah, I'd just rather take the $1 million in pennies and take it to the bank and let them deal with it.
I think Roland would say ice cream because he wouldn't think about the money. It's funny to not think about money that you need when you don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah. I don't,
It's
I
free
don't-
because we pay for it.
Do I have to take possession of the ice cream immediately?
Yeah, I mean, if that's
Or could I have
that's a
some
caveat.
time to arrange storage?
I'm going to say we didn't dig that deep.
Okay.
So
Assuming I had to take possession
you're saying there's
immediately.
a question mark there?
If I had time to arrange storage and logistics, then okay, the $100 million in ice cream, okay. If I sold it half price, that's $50 million. But
Right.
that's not something you can just take over in 2 seconds.
You don't have ice cream dealers operating on the corner in your neighborhood?
No. How long would it take you? How much? I'm just curious. How much ice cream is sold in the United States every year?
Oh, I would bet it's more than that. I mean,
I bet
my
that's
mother-in-law alone consumes 100 pounds a week.
I need to
So,
search how much ice cream.
You can look that up. I'll read the next question.
Okay, go for it.
Would you rather be the smartest kid at your school or be the best kid at sports in your school? This is an interesting one.
I'm answering this as a 45-year-old whose
Yes, exactly.
athletic abilities have
Faded.
quickly deteriorated over the years.
Wah, wah, wah.
I would much rather be smart than athletic at this point in my life.
Yes, there's good news. I have good news for you. You are smarter than you are athletic at
Yeah,
this
that's
age.
true.
I'm not going to say you're the best at either one, but I've seen your intelligence and I've seen your sports.
You've never seen me play. Well, you've seen me shoot.
I've seen you shoot basketball,
Well, I'm rusty there. That's for sure. I used to be much better.
and we've kicked the soccer ball. You're better at that than I am.
Yeah.
So, and before I decided to develop a heart condition, I think I could take you on the basketball court, but that would be me standing out and shooting.
I think it'd be close because even when I played, I was never a spot up shooter. I drove and took people to the hoop more than anything.
Okay, well,
I think it'd be an interesting matchup.
we'll,
Assuming
we'll
we were
get the
both
time
healthy enough.
machine and go back 5 years
Yeah.
and play.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do that now. No mixing it up on the post for me.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Okay, so here's a really good one, I think, for adults too. Would you rather have only one best friend for the rest of your life or have 10 best friends that live in other countries? It says why this is a good kids question because kids are big on friendships. Like having a lot of them.
Wow.
My answer is the first one. But as a kid, I would have totally said the second one.
I will say this: do I have funds to travel?
Let's assume you
Because
do.
Then
but
I
you
would
can't
take
see
the
them
over.
all the time.
But then I could just, I have 10 people across the globe I can go spend weeks at a time with because they're best
Well,
friends.
if that's the case, I probably would do that too.
Yeah.
But I would be more about, if I had the money for that, I'd probably be more about let's get everyone together in one place instead of me going to 10 places.
But if they were all, let's just say, take the overseas part away from it, because then I would just be using them for travel.
Okay.
Would I rather have one best friend or 10 best friends? I'd rather have one because 10 seems exhausting.
Yeah. I don't want
have
to keep
time
up
for-
with 10 people.
For 10 people, that's
I have
too
trouble
many.
keeping up with like 3 or 4.
Yeah, 10 is too many.
Well, and see, of course, where my twisted fuck brain went is, if I had 10, I'd get them all together more often, but then I'd get upset and angry because some of them would start forming little groups.
Yep.
And I'd have like 3 of them that I'm like, well, I hate that person now that I see him all the time. And they'd be making little, let's fuck that guy. Screw that person. And of course, that's where my brain went. But
So I have an answer to our ice cream question.
okay, what is
In
it?
the United States, $13.1 billion of ice cream is sold.
Billion.
Is sold annually. So
Okay.
with 100 million in ice cream, I wouldn't quite control 10% of the ice cream market, but it would be close to it.
You'd have a good market share.
But then, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So that's a lot of ice cream to
That
sell in a
is.
year,
Yeah.
assuming I can move it all quickly. But yeah, that
You'd be a power player in the ice cream trade.
for 1 year,
Yes.
and then I'd be done.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to hold on to it for very long.
I wonder what your net profit would be out of that. Probably not good.
Well, but you're giving me the 100 million in ice cream, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you got to factor in now. You're talking about like EBITDA and stuff like that, and loss and things that you're gonna have some loss prevention to have to worry about and
Sure.
stuff like that. So
People stealing my ice cream from the store.
again, we're thinking about we're getting way too deep with these
Yeah,
questions. But-
probably.
So here's your last one. Would you rather it be Christmas every day or your birthday every day? This is definitely a kid's question.
Yeah. Christmas. I hate my birthday. I wish no one knew when my birthday was.
Is that because you're older?
Yes, and it could be ignored. And I have reached a point in my life where I enjoy watching my kids at Christmas more than just about anything. So yeah, Christmas every day for me. And I hate my birthday. So
I would, at this point in my life, I would say birthday, just because, and I will say it's because of this, because on Christmas, like Thanksgiving, since I was, as long as I can remember, since I was 5 years old, Christmas and Thanksgiving, I'm in the road all day. And I especially would want it to be the other now because on my birthday, I'll say from the time I was in the working world. So the last 25 years roughly, I would bet on at least 10 of those 25, if not more, more like half. I've been like traveling. Some of it business, some of it pleasure. So I've been away from home.
Yeah.
And I prefer, it's like people say, what do you want for Father's Day? For everybody to get the hell away from me. So I can just have a quiet day to everybody shut the fuck up. That's what I want. And Christmas ain't that for me. Now, I love getting up with the boys. I love watching them get presents and sitting around for an hour or two and just basking in that. But then we have to get up, make a bunch of Sister Schubert fucking rolls or corral some luncheon meats or something and go out to Fayette County and do that. Then we got to go to my mother's. She ain't listening to this shit. Go to my mother's and do that.
This will be the one she listens to.
Probably. I love the meals. I love about 20 minutes of the fellowship. Other than that, I just like to sit there and chill.
Yeah.
And bask in it. And I don't get that. So I will say I get antsy if I'm not up and moving by 11 or 12 on Christmas. That doesn't mean I enjoy it. It just means my body is so used to it. And the boys have told me, man, I wish we could just sit here on Christmas. So when COVID hit, we did. And I was a wreck. Because I'm like, what the fuck are we supposed to do all day? Stare at each other? I was like, go to your rooms. Go away. I don't want to look at you.
I will say, we as a family do of all of our traveling around on Christmas Eve. And our plan is we just hang at the house on Christmas and cook dinner and have dinner to ourselves. Or if family wants to come and eat dinner, it's always at our place.
Right.
And if they don't want to come, cool, but we're not going anywhere. And so that's, I like the way we do that for sure.
See, that all sounds cool to me, except the one thing is, the only thing that'd be worse than doing family somewhere is doing it here. Because then I have to wait for those people to leave.
Well,
Or I have to be the dick and say, all right, I'm going to bed.
It all depends on how big your things are, I guess. So
that's what she said.
It depends on how big your gatherings are. Ours have always been small. We don't do extended stuff. So
right. I get you.
We don't have cousins and second cousins and all come over and all hang out together. That's just not something that we've really done.
Right.
They all live in Texas anyway, so that probably helps things. So
I got you. Okay, so that was your would you rather questions of the day.
Yay.
Did you have a Florida report for us?
I don't have a Florida
skip
report.
That, but I know you have dad jokes.
I do have a couple dad jokes.
And I'll look up the dirty ones while you're...
Well, I do have one dirty one.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see.
Dirty dad. Yeah, I'm talking what I type. Okay. 46 dirty dad jokes.
This one has a cuss word in it, so...
Okay, go ahead. Fuck that.
Yeah. So... My wife. Oof.
Is she listening to this?
I doubt it. It really sucks, and I could fix this myself by buying it myself, but she always buys cheap toilet paper, and it is such a pain in the ass.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
I like it.
You like that?
There's no coming from that one.
No. There'll be no more no's anymore.
Did you hear that the proctologist's longtime girlfriend broke it off with him? It absolutely wrecked him.
I like that. What do you call two lesbians in a closet?
I don't know.
Liquor cabinet.
Now that's a good one. I can envision that one too. How does a rock pee?
Is this like a Dwayne the Johnson?
Dwayne's his Johnson.
Dwayne's his Johnson. Okay.
Yeah. Dwayne. How clever. Let's see. No, that's not a good one. What has two butts and kills people? An assassin.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
how
good.
about that
That's
one?
Clever. I like a little wordplay.
Yeah, right. My wife is furious at our next door neighbor who sunbathes topless in her backyard. Personally, I'm on the fence.
I bet you are.
Yeah,
I bet you are.
I wouldn't be the only one. Come on. I hate those people who knock
she
on your door and
attractive?
say you need to get saved or you'll burn. Stupid fireman. That's a good
That is a
sort
good
of
one.
religiosity
I
one
like
for
that.
you.
That's good stuff. That was a twist I was not expecting it to take. So
What's this one? My son is now at that age where he's curious about the human body. I guess I'll have to hide it somewhere else now. Here we go.
good stuff.
So one more, or did you have any more?
I don't. I'm out.
Okay. When two people have sex, it's a twosome. When three people have sex, it's a threesome. Now I know why people call you handsome.
Uh huh.
Ha ha!
Ah.
Brian's jerking his hand. Ha ha!
Ah.
So, yeah,
We had the ostrich sound effect too.
yeah, I'll get that back.
Okay.
If only we had the 1 billion times sound effect. I can't even find that anymore.
Why did
If
they
you're
take-
listening and you had that, why'd you take it down?
Why would you take that down?
Email us at drinktothatsob@aol.com.
Billion time ostrich Family Guy. Haha sound.
So great. Because some of those billion ones are still up, but not that one.
Yeah, I don't understand
Yeah.
why that one.
I don't get it either.
It's too popular. Too
Yeah.
popular. It's too good.
I got to make sure this thing's still recording. Hopefully you're still listening.
I hope it recorded something.
I think it did.
Okay, good.
Yep, it did. At least as far as I can tell.
Okay.
So,
Is it
time for smokes and road beers.
Oh.
Closing rants.
Oh.
I have one.
Oh, I
What
bet
a
you
shock. Go ahead, Brian. Do you have one? Come on, you have to have one today.
do.
You even ranted to me in text, but we can't say exactly what that is.
I know.
Come on.
I guess my
Keep
rant.
it R-rated.
I don't want to. I need to protect the innocent. I guess.
Okay.
Um.
Do you want to think of how to word it, and I'll give mine?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Here's mine. That I had another one, but I'm going to give this one today because it happened today.
Uh-oh.
Fucking doctors' waiting rooms.
Yeah.
Especially when it's your first time there. I totally get that they have to give me the 15 fucking forms to fill out, which
Sure.
I still don't understand why we're in an age where they keep all this fucking paper.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Make everything online. I understand that may suck too for records retention, but there's ways to do it online. Now, somebody walked in ahead of me and said, I filled these out online. But they still had to print them and bring them in. So why do you have to keep paper charts? That said, that's not the rant.
Well, didn't they not approve like two decades ago, like the ability to not have to keep those like legally? Wasn't it part of the American Affordable Care Act?
The Obamacare?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never looked that up. But so I go in the doctor's office. Never been there before. And it's not even like a emergency doctor. It's a dermatologist. Skin doctor.
Okay.
And nobody in there looks like they're suffering from terminal skin cancer. I apologize if you are. Like I said, I'm insensitive. I'm not trying to make light of that at all. But nobody in there looks like they're suffering from a terminal disease.
Yeah.
So go in there. It's a waiting room with about 15 chairs, of which 14 are fucking full. And lady hands me the clipboard. I do the forms. The appointment, I was told, was 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Get there at 9:57. Start filling out the forms. Take them back up. I'm up there by 10:05. Have somewhere else to be at like 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
10:50. I'm still not called up to even verify the forms that I gave them 45 goddamn minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
And the lady keeps telling everybody, and I don't put all the blame on her, but she keeps telling everybody, oh, you see how busy I am. It's just me up here, blah, blah, blah. Not my problem, okay?
Yep.
The fact that you fuckers overbooked because you want to collect that cash, that's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Hurry the fuck up or don't overbook. Hire correctly or don't overbook. The theme here is don't overbook. Tell me we can't get you in tomorrow when I tried it yesterday. We can get you in next week, though.
Yeah.
Perfect. So don't make me have to walk up to the fucking desk and say, I'm going to have to reschedule. And then try to argue with you about you telling me I'll get charged a no-show fee. I was like, that's horseshit. I'm here. I have another appointment at 11:30. So no, you're not charging me a no-show fee.
Mm-hmm.
Try it and see what happens. She's like, okay, and gives me the we'll let it go this time. Fuck you. So what time can I schedule it for? You know what? I'll call you back.
Mm-hmm.
Which means fuck off. I'm not going back to you. So found another doctor within 5 minutes on my phone who can get me in Monday. We'll see if it's the same experience. Better not be. That's the rant.
I
didn't say there was a solution in there. I just said it was a rant. And I'm a dick.
I know there's a shortage of medical professionals, but in any other walk of life, if you make an appointment time, it's not that one party has to be at the appointment at that time. It's that all parties involved with that meeting, appointment, should be there at the time the appointment is set for.
Yep.
I don't understand why in the medical profession that doesn't apply. And it never has. I mean,
you're right.
You make
It's
a
not a
medical
COVID
appointment, you show up. At least they had a full lobby. What's really frustrating to me is when there's like 2 people in the lobby, you have a 10 o'clock appointment, and you still don't go back till 10:45.
Yep.
And then like the person that walked in 20 minutes after you walks in, they check in, and immediately get called back, and you're like, what?
Because it's like, well, they're seeing a different doctor. Well, that was the other thing I failed to mention is that everybody in the waiting room, whether they came in before or after me, got called up to at least do something before, and I was never called back up.
Yeah.
So the only other walk of life I've ever run into that on a regular basis is like fancy restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't go to them that often, but you go to like, yeah, I'm calling you out, Roots Chris. Every year, my wife and I go with the boys and eat at around our anniversary. Every year, I make a reservation. Every year, I get told, we'll have your table ready momentarily. Bull fucking shit. I didn't show up 30 minutes early. I show up on purpose 1 minute or so before the time.
Yeah, see, now fancy restaurants, that's a whole different animal. Like, that's a luxury thing. It's not your health. It's not like you're being forced to go eat
I
there.
agree. I'm not sitting there going
why
afoul.
why do you keep going back? I mean, Ruth's Chris, where your sister works is just as good, if not better, than Ruth's Chris.
Because she usually is never working the nights that we go,
But,
which is the case this year too.
yeah, but
I asked her to switch shifts, and she's like, "I can't do that."
no.
No. So, what's your rant? Did you frame it up yet?
I think so. When you try to do everything correctly and try to leave things in a good way and try to treat people right when you're leaving, and people say that everything's cool and it's appreciated that, for what you've done over the years, and then you step out the door and you have one expectation, and then you find out quite shortly afterwards that that's not necessarily the case, and there's at least appears to be a concerted effort to kind of excise you from any input or help that you've offered that was supposedly accepted. I mean, I don't understand the point of, if you don't want a person around after they leave a position, which is fine. I mean, that's cool. Then just tell them, it's like, we're good. But to play the game up to the fact and then to kind of try to erase a person's impact after and pretend like, it wasn't a thing. I mean, I don't understand the point of that. I mean, it's frustrating, but at the same time, there's still great people that you care about in, former jobs and friends you make and friends that you met along the way that you still care about. It's just frustrating when it feels like you're kind of shut off from those people because of the decisions of a few. that were involved, and then that sometimes those people then finally come back and ask for your help, and you're like, nah, I'm good. You had a
Right.
chance for it, and you're not going to get it anymore. The offer's off the table at this point. So
Right.
very cryptic and probably nonsensical, and hopefully you just skipped to the end of the podcast and didn't listen to that anyway. But
Well,
that's that something that keeps popping up from time to time, even though as much as I don't want it to. But anyways, that's my rant for the day.
Okay.
So,
No, and that's obviously I know Brian well, so I know where he's referring to. Most people would not, but all I'll say is, on air, is that I totally understand the feeling, and I know what he's referring to. Obviously, what I try to, at least if no one else in life, impart to my sons is that just understand that, among other things, among many, a myriad things, is to always understand that even when people say, yeah, this is what we want, this is what we value from you, blah, 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 blah. Always understand that things can turn on a dime. And sometimes they do. And no matter how much you protect yourself, unfortunately, people burn you. And I try to tell them, and I don't always set the best example, is don't let it get you down, but you can't help it. And when you get in situations like what you're describing, it's very hard to maintain your faith. I won't say in humanity, but in people, in the way people behave and treat other people, and think about more than themselves. It's a self-centered thing to me.
yeah. Well, I think there are some unique things about certain jobs that don't apply across to every job. I would imagine kind of, I'm not comparing myself to Derek Jeter, but Derek Jeter, for instance, will always be associated with the Yankees,
Right.
because of his job. And there is I would think when he retired, there is a struggle, I would assume, for him to redefine who he was as a person outside of the organization when he had been a Yankee for so long. And I think anyone in a position where who you are, your identity is so tied to what you do, I think there's a lot of difficulty once that's over to kind of separate and find you again.
Sure.
And so I guess that compounds it. I mean,
Well, to that point, I think there's sometimes people think that that's a function of time. It's not always a function of time. Time usually does factor in, but it can be that you're in something so deeply for months, not even years. You embed yourself so deeply and give of yourself so deeply that months can feel like decades. And so when you pull yourself out of it, or you're ripped away from it, whatever it is, I think in the case you're talking about with yourself, giving of yourself for that time frame and the effort level you gave, to feel like it's, to leave it is tough in and of itself.
yeah.
But to leave it on these kind of terms, I mean, there's no words for it. I mean, I've had similar experiences, not exactly what you're going through, but yeah, it's.
Well, even for us, Paul and I work together, and we're working on a significantly large project. But the project will come to an end at some point.
Yep.
And then to find what is our role when the project's over, I imagine that will be interesting.
May diverge. Yeah.
Yeah, what will, because we'll be the training guys. We'll be the training department. We'll be training, that's who we will be known as. And when the training is done and created, I'm not saying it's going to be the same, but there'll be a bit of identity struggle for a bit as we try to realign ourselves with wherever we end up in the business.
Yeah.
So.
Stovepiping is something that I've been down that road. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, and that is, the fact that you and I have, and not to go down a rabbit hole for all you listeners, all one of you, but Brian and I have had the discussion about specialists versus generalists, and our parents' generation, it was all about staying at the same place for 30 to 45 years. And that is not a bad thing in and of itself at all. No. We work in a place where the majority of people are that type, at least 20 years, if not longer.
Well, and that I think speaks to how good the organization is to its employees more than anything. So,
but you and I have been down career paths both separately, where we've been in different industries.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's for 2-3 years, sometimes it's for 10 or 15 years, and it can give you different perspectives and experiences that people who are in the same place for a long, long time. The wiring just becomes set in place. They're just not going to get that. The same is for us. We might not understand someone saying, "Oh yeah, 40 years. I've never had a question mark about being here." I mean, earlier in my career, I thought I'd never be anywhere for more than 5 years.
Yeah,
and I ended up in one job for 14, and I was like, "Wow." I looked back when I left and thought I'd been here forever, but I realized, I've got a lot of years ahead, hopefully.
Yeah.
To be in other things even longer. So, sorry, we went down a road. That was deep. So.
Nice.
Yep. Movie reference there for any of you deep 1990 movies fans.
Speaking of, I know that we're probably going long, but I did watch Dawn of the... What's the Dead movie with the... in the mall?
Well, which Dawn of the Dead are you talking?
Was it
the original or the remake? Yeah, you're talking the remake.
Was 2004 with
the Zack Snyder? Or...
Zack Snyder?
Yep.
Do you know who wrote the script for that?
I don't remember.
James Gunn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That surprised me hearing that.
But yeah, I watched that last night.
Because Carson saw Guardians 3 like you did. I have not seen it yet.
Yeah,
and he said that is the most James Gunn movie of James Gunn movies. And he said that's also... He couldn't believe that that was a Marvel movie. He said there were moments in it that it was like, wow, they're taking it to the edge of Marvel. No. He said, now I'm not saying they're taking it to the edge of movies, but he said they're taking it to the edge of what I think Disney Marvel would allow.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I'm excited for you to hear that because the soundtrack is so good. It's the 90s. Guardians 1
I heard Hold On Loosely in there by 38 Special. Is that in there? That's in a promo. I was like, that's like a 80s track. Well, they played on 80s at 8 all the time.
I believe the first song in the whole thing is an acoustic cover of Radiohead's Creep.
Nice. Okay.
And then from there, it's just 90s after 90s. So it was really
nostalgic
for me.
Did they drop in the I'm So Fucking Special?
No, they
He said there's one F-bomb in the movie.
There is.
He said they did not get to 2 where they'd be R-rated.
Yeah, no, there's just one. Going back, that movie still really holds up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really, really strong movie.
That Dawn of the Dead, I mean, I will still ride and die with the original Dawn of the Dead. That's because I was a Romero guy. Still am. And that's zombie movies. I've kind of gotten a malaise about it. I told you a few weeks ago that I was not going to watch The Last of Us. I did watch it all the way through.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And I enjoyed it. I love Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
I thought Bella Ramsey actually surprised me. She did a good job.
Yeah, she's good.
And I liked the way it played out. It was very good. The Dawn of the Dead movies, I mean, the original, I know the zombies are slow and it's long and it's flawed, but that's still my favorite Romero movie. The Dawn of the Dead remake, I really enjoyed. I will say the first 5 minutes scared the fuck out of me.
With
when the little girl comes in and snaps off on dude.
Yeah.
And the scene the 3 seconds that always pops in my head is when she's driving and ends up on the highway and is behind the bus. Yeah. And the 2 zombies are clearly grabbing somebody else.
Yeah.
That visual sticks in my head. I mean, those first few minutes were like, okay, this grabs you from the beginning.
Yeah.
I do really like the movie. There's flaws to that one too, but I'm still a original guy. Just because I love the story of it, and it's like I said, I'm not saying it's Oscar worthy. But
So since you have watched Last of Us, did you have a favorite episode?
Let's see. I mean, I love Nick Offerman.
I thought that was the best episode.
That was definitely the most poignant.
And that had no zombies in it. I don't think it had.
Yeah, I don't think it did either. It definitely had, vagrants who got flamed through.
Yeah.
We'll say, how do you say it? Flame through.
That's not a past tense verb you use very often.
They got flame thrown.
They got
on
flambéed.
them.
How about that?
That's good. Flambéed. That was very gratifying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say that episode was really good. I liked the episode where they escaped Kansas City.
That was a good
about
one.
as well.
Yeah.
Mainly because the big giant thing came out and
Yeah.
lit the fuck out of bitch. So
That was a good one. I also like the one where she kills the guy after he's like,
the perv.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was.
I saw that and I thought of you because I'm like, every time I see the pervy thing now, I'm like, man, to have to deal with that and have a daughter.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
I thought it's like, wait, you see pervs and think of me?
No, that's not what I meant. So, for you three listeners, that's not what I meant.
No.
It's more like
I have a daughter, and
think
that hits.
I appreciate that you have a daughter, and it'd be like, I mean, as a dad, I totally am like, man, what a scumbag. Mm-hmm. But especially if I had a daughter, I'd be thinking, I would so chop that guy's nuts off.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. I wouldn't want to kill him. I'd want to chop his junk off and then let him sit there in it. And I mean, just sadistic shit, like hostile kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. And
so
they would deserve it, absolutely.
Yes. Anyway, but no, that's good. So thank you for joining, and we will probably have another one next week. Carson will be back from school. He's coming back tomorrow night. So Brian and Carson and I will record.
Hey-o.
And then also another one coming up is Carson and Kever have a rematch of the Office Showdown.
Oh.
There's prizes for both of them. I'm going to show Brian what the prizes are when this is over.
To be a fly on the wall for that one.
Oh, you can come and listen if you want.
Okay.
And chip in from the sides.
Okay.
I don't know if we have enough mics for all of us, but
that's fine.
We can make it happen. So yeah. So listen and again, comments. Excuse me, bullshit, whatever, to drink to that SOB at AOL.com.
Drink to that
if you
SOB.
think that's old school, fuck
at
off.
AOL.com.
I don't care. So if you find me
Go
a
join
Prodigy
Bebo.
or CompuServe email,
Yeah.
that's fine too. But we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
See ya.